Santa came early as the Minnesota State Mavericks come into town to face off against the University of Indianapolis Greyhounds. Welcome into the booth. My name's Jake Helton. Alongside me, Jace Hodge to provide some color commentary for today's contest. As they get the coin toss underway, we will first turn to Jace for his keys to the game. We'll start with Minnesota State, Jace.
Yeah, for this Mavericks ball club, a win against Findlay last week, a big win, and we'll see that they will defer the coin toss, and Indianapolis will get the ball to begin this game. But for this Minnesota State team, they need to win the battle in the trenches. A very physical ball club, very big guys on the line. If they can win that battle in the trenches, they should be just fine in this game. They also need to force turnovers. They're one of the best in Division II at doing just that, with 28 takeaways coming into this game. If they can force the Greyhounds into uncharacteristic mistakes, that'll lead them down the right path. And then finally, they need to keep the ball away from the Greyhounds quarterback, Gavin Sukup. And the season he's had has been fantastic. The more you keep the ball out of his hands, the better off you'll be come into the game.
Well, if Minnesota State sticks to that, they're going to have a pretty good chance of beating the Greyhounds, taking away their best weapon in Gavin Sukup. But, Jace, what do the Greyhounds have to do to come out of here with a win?
And the Greyhounds getting the ball first. The first key I had was they need to start fast. Last week against Truman State, first play, touchdown to Caleb Carver. They get the ball a chance to do just that right here. If they can start first and get a score on this first drive, they put the pressure back on the Mavericks. They also need to use the quarterback run. Gavin Sukup is very versatile with his legs. He's very good with his legs, and it's going to be very needed today, especially when that snow comes in later in this ball game that is expected. And then finally, they need to get pressure from the front seven, from the front four on the quarterback, because the Mavericks are very big up front. They have a very good run game, and the Greyhounds need to limit that as much as possible. So they need to get pressure early, often, especially from those D ends like Danny Royster is a guy they're going to use a lot in this game, trying to get some of that pressure on this Mavericks ball team.
The Greyhounds will wear their black jerseys along with the black helmets. Minnesota State will rep the purple helmets alongside the white jerseys, white tops and bottoms. It's a pretty nice jersey matchup, and as we wait for the kickoff, Jace, it's pretty cold here. What exactly is the weather looking like?
Well, some snow in the pregame, and looking outside right now, about 34 degrees. It'll get chillier as the game goes on. Some snow, possibly second half.
Kickoff is up, and it looks like it will be Marquise Gillum who will take it for the Greyhounds. Got it at about the 5, gets grabbed by the helmet and pushed back by quite a few Mavericks, and they'll give him forward progress. It'll start at the 21-yard line for Gavin Sukup and this offense. And that is where we will start taking a look at the starting lineups for this Greyhound offense. We'll start with that quarterback, Gavin Sukup. Jace, what can you say about this guy?
There's not much more to say about this guy. 3-time now GLVC Offensive Player of the Year, 38 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, holds nearly every school record now for single season and career passing records. This guy has been absolutely insane, and he is the offense on this ball club.
The skills positions will start him as we see him. Colton Wilkie wears 83. He was the one just in motion. Now Marquise Gillum, number 1 in motion. We do have some movement on the offensive line. Looks like it's going to be a false start on the Greyhounds. That'll give us a chance to go over the starting lineups, finish them off. Caleb Carver. It will be the false start on the Greyhounds, but we'll continue this. Caleb Carver wears number 4, and he had a big game last week alongside Alonzo Derrick, kind of the rock of this receiving core. Marquise Gillum, the speedster, and Colton Wilkie, the tight end. Offensive line after this play. Sukup drops back, and he's looking deep, looking to use his legs, and that's exactly what we talked about. Minnesota State likes to drop back quite a few guys. That time they dropped back 7. A little bit of contact after the slide, but nothing will be called. Minnesota State likes to drop back about 7, 8 guys. That's when Sukup has to use his legs. And he's protected by a pretty solid offensive line. Everybody was first or second team. Kevion Anderson, Grant Ray, Brandon Stuckey, the center, Tyler Leopold, and Ryan Butts on the right side of that line. Jace, a rough start to the season, but they got things going as things went on. Sukup in the shotgun. He'll send Garrett Sherrill in motion. Usually a running back for this Greyhound squad, but he's no stranger to lining up in. Juster Spitaki breaks free. One man can get him. Will he make it to the 10? He misses into the end zone. Touchdown, Greyhounds.
Starting fast. What do we say about starting fast? Fataki, I'm not sure how he got through that first level of the defense. He was stuffed, and he broke free. Broke out of the cage.
Call him Houdini. He slipped through there. He lost sight of him. and he pops out the other side, takes it to the house. Around a 70-yard touchdown. We'll get the exact yardage after this. Andrew Herron on to add the extra point. Jace, you said they needed a big play. That's exactly what they just got.
Juster Svataki, this guy came onto the scene about midway through the season in that Truman State game a few weeks back, and he has taken the helm ever since. Him and Cheryl, that duo-headed backfield. Man, oh man, what a start for the Greyhounds.
Not a big crowd here in Indianapolis. The Greyhounds have to bring their own energy, and they did just that. It is 7-0. We'll get to see this Mavericks offense when we return here on ESPN+.
Short yard scenarios because of the powerful runs that Thompson has shown he can provide for this offense.
In motion, it's Stoff. But it'll be a handoff for Backer. Backer goes inside, makes a couple men miss. Jalen Gavon in there on the tackle. A couple of Greyhounds had to bring him down, but another nice first down run, and that is how this Minnesota State team finds success. Great first down plays. They never put themselves behind the chains, and when they get in the red zone, they finish.
Absolutely. They have the best red zone conversion rate in Division II this year, 51 of 52 in scoring in the red zone this season.
They're knocking on the door right now, maybe just on the 20-yard line as Thompson hands it off to Backer, working around, and you see the methodical the way he works through the defensive line. He almost uses his lineman as a shield to work through and get to that second line, and once he finds a linebacker, it's shoulder down, and he's getting those extra couple of yards. A little bit of tempo. They'll bring in an extra big man, and it seems as though they're going to run it straight down the Greyhound defense.
That's all they've done so far. Why not do it again?
Backer to the left. He'll take the handoff and run to the left, and he escapes an ankle tackle into the end zone. Leopis had a chance to bring him down, but does not, and that is going to just about bring it even. 7-6 now, impending the field goal, extra point that is, and Minnesota State, that's exactly what they plan to do, and they stuck to it.
Yeah, Backer, one of those runners who's very hard to bring down, and you get him to that second level, he's going to be hard to bring down by any of those safeties or linebackers. Saw a missed tackle there by the Greyhounds, and that's all you really need for a back like Backer.
And that can almost be a little demeaning to a defense like the Greyhounds, who have struggled against some better run games. You look back to, as the extra point is good, you look back to that Findlay game, one in particular that I think of. Jaden Farmer had a field day against the Greyhounds, and they haven't seen too many good running backs throughout the year, and I think this is a tall task for them to kind of step up the run game and go up against such a high-powered back like Backer. But we'll step aside. It is 7-7, 7-16 on the board. Greyhounds and Gavin Sukup will have the ball when we return on ESPN+. That's where the Greyhounds will start, led by quarterback Gavin Sukup. Jace?
Yeah, this guy has been, we mentioned him on the first half how insane he has been, but look at the stats this year. Passing efficiency first, completion percentage first, passing touchdowns second. I mean, he keeps going down the list on all the stat categories. He is top 5 in the nation. This guy has been near perfection in most of these games this season, and when the Greyhounds offense is humming, it's because of him.
And you see that perfection, and it's hard to believe that there's any other quarterbacks that could compete, but
it's been a 17-play, 10-minute drive so far from Minnesota State.
Grueling on the defense. But that was a nice break for him. Mitchell Thompson looking for his quarterback. Backer able to make the one-handed catch into the end zone. Touchdown, Mavericks.
You got him that time. You have that motion, and he sneaks out again. The Greyhounds aren't on those sneak outs so far, and you had about a step ahead of the linebacker out in front, and a great catch made by Backer. It was a little bit ahead of him, and Backer able to tip it up to himself, make the catch, the touchdown, and the Mavericks 18-play touchdown drive. Man, oh man, this Mavericks offense is exactly what we know it's capable of, and just pound the ball down the field and end it off with the pass.
Got a good look at that replay right there, and you just make the linebacker make a decision. If he steps up on Mitchell Thompson, he throws it over top. If he stays back with Backer, then he takes it himself, and Thompson is a big threat on his feet. Greyhounds pick their poison. It ends in 7 as it is 14-7. The Greyhounds find themselves trailing for the first time in a while. Probably what you want to do for the Greyhounds. 5:37 on the clock. Minnesota State, not the quickest team on offense, so
got to remember this wind, too. It's whipping around. Not exactly ideal wind to kick in. It's kind of favoring on his back right now, too, but there's still a little bit of push to the to the far side of the field.
As Jace said, keep an eye on the wind. You'll see the flags at the top of the goalpost, but Heron's up, and it gets blocked. And it gets picked up. Minnesota State's going to take it back. Sukup gets taken down. Sukup ends up making the play, a big hit, and he's in the face of the Minnesota State player. That's what you love to see out of your quarterback right there. Maybe give a little bit of life to the Greyhounds, who just had a massive play going the way of Mankato. And that's what they do. They force turnovers. They make the game messy. And right there, a big block deep in Greyhound territory. They get a stop.
Something I was wondering about this game was, are they going to bring pressure on the special teams? You can take a look here at the highlight, and a few guys got there. A few guys are in the backfield. You got to block it for the Greyhounds, and that time no one was blocking, it seemed like.
After the Brent Johnson on the far side, wearing number 10, he had that pass interference earlier in the game, almost made up for it with an interception. Third down, Mitchell Thompson takes it, looking to his right side, throws it, it's caught. Beautiful offense, and it is Hudson Dillon who gets it, the redshirt freshman, his third touchdown of the season. Just like that, a chance to make it a 14-point lead as you head into half, and the Mavericks, a chance to double up. They get it coming out of the break.
And that was essentially a pick play that time. You have the two receivers lined up. One comes inside, the other one does the same thing, but you kind of have that pick being set by one of the receivers. It's legal as long as it's not purposeful, and it was a legal play that time, and a great design by the offensive unit of Minnesota State Mankato.
Jalen Gavon would have been the one to make the play, but just a step behind Dillon, and with 5 seconds to go, Mankato will kick it off, and the Greyhounds maybe a chance for a big play here. They had the co-special teams player of the year in Anthony Crowell. He was, well, I guess technically special teams and defense, but he was Circle City for the second half of action. Minnesota State leads the Greyhounds 21-7. Jace, it was pretty much exactly what we expected from Minnesota State. The Greyhounds maybe struggled a little bit more on defense, but I think the real story is time of possession.
Yeah, time of possession is the big thing we're looking at right now. 21:59. To basically 22 minutes to 8 minutes in favor of the Greyhounds. It almost equals the score on the scoreboard right now at 22-8 advantage, and that was just Minnesota State controlling the ball, keeping the ball on the ground, taking the underneath short passes. That was them keeping the ball short, gaining about 6 to 7 yards per play, and that's all they really needed over the course of this game, because they've been keeping the ball on the ground, keeping that clock rolling, and keeping the ball out of Gavin Sukup's hands. That was the game plan that we said that Minnesota State should follow, and they have so far. They've kept the ball away from Gavin Sukup, and when he had the ball, they had the one big play the Greyhounds did, but outside of that, they've been pretty much blanketing down in coverage so far, and Sukup can't find anything deep against this Mavericks defense, so the Mavericks playing exactly to their hands so far and playing the way they should. Work as well in the red zone. We've seen this season them okay in the red zone, but
trips out to the right. Sukup looking downfield. He gets hit as he throws. Colton Wilkie comes away with it. Touchdown, Greyhounds. This was exactly where Minnesota State made Finley pay. Chase Harrison got hit. He threw one over the middle of the field. It got intercepted. This is where the Greyhounds just kind of changed the momentum. Colton Wilkie took that out of the air. Here you go. Throws it up. Bang. He went and got that. Took a big lick from the safety, but he brought it down 21-13, and the extra point on the way. Minnesota State did block a field goal earlier in this contest. It's up and good. You might wonder why that field goal looks a little wonky. Pretty windy here in Indianapolis before this game got started. Might have had a little bit to do with the bend in the field goal, but it makes it all that much easier to make it 21-14. The Greyhounds, they've got a little bit of life, but Minnesota State's offense coming back when we return on ESPN+. There is a first down inside the 2-yard line to be gotten. Mitchell Thompson in the end zone, though. He runs into a Greyhound but stays on his feet. He's in the end zone. It is 27-14. Minnesota State comes down and answers the Greyhound score. A long, methodical drive once again. They have run 41 more plays than the Greyhounds in this contest. 63-22, the play count. 22 first downs. They've got as many first downs as the Greyhounds have plays. The Greyhounds have just 7 first downs, but they still only find themselves down by 13. Time of possession is really telling the story. Kick is up, extra point is good. Make it a 14-point lead for the Mavericks as we've got 4:46 to go in the third. This game's not over at all. The Greyhounds will look to answer with Gavin Sukup heading back onto the field when we return. 28-27, Andrew Herron onto the field to tie this one up. 1:50 to go. The Greyhounds come out of the 2-minute warning and punch. There has been a blocked kick in this game. Let's take a look at this.
Look at the tightrope, man. Look at the way he split two defenders. Sherrill uses that speed, uses that agility and elusiveness to get down the sideline. And one extra point away, Jake. Can Herron tie?